Moving along, we'll investigate Ungoro Crater in the southern portion of Kalimdor. Like Moonglade, it is enclosed in a circular chain of mountains, an even clearer circle than the glade. It is quite likely that this is also a caldera. Obviously the land has not been disturbed in some time though, as trees such as this have had time to grow an immense size. That might not be very long in geological time, but no one on this planet has seen a very violent eruption in their lifetime. It seems perhaps this area is becoming active again, for as you can see there's a definite dome of some sort in the very center. Fire Plume Ridge. It's quite small, but there is clearly lava pooling out of its top. There are also hot springs in this region, evidence that this area is volcanically active. Looking at this image of Tycho Crater, an impact crater on the moon, it bears a great deal of resemblance. There are even signs of past volcanism. This is likely from rock melt caused by the impact. As it turns out though, Ungoro Crater is one of the few zones in World of Warcraft that is actually based off a real-world reference. Ungoro Crater was based on Ngorongoro Crater in Tanzania, which is the world's largest unbroken and unflooded volcanic caldera. With this knowledge, I'm going to say that Ungoro Crater is most likely a volcanic caldera as well then, not an impact crater with magic lava. Now, we've spent a lot of time on Kalimdor. Let's take a look at one of the most dynamic landscapes in the Eastern Kingdoms. The Searing Gorge and the Burning Steppes are counted as two separate zones, and are divided by length of apparent mountains, though they are very similar to each other in landscape. They also share a feature, the Blackrock Mountain. It is one of the largest mountains and is quite clearly a volcano. But what is it doing in the middle of a continent? Is it a hotspot? I'd say that's too easy of an explanation. There's quite a lot of volcanic activity going on in this area. Lava seeps up in cracks and pits in the ground. A constant stream of lava gushes from Blackrock Mountain. It is at a relatively low elevation as well in comparison to other areas. And there's a curious little feature inside this mountain. A perpetual lake of lava. Despite the mountain's typical stratocone shape, there's never any pyroclastic eruptions, and the lava that does flow out of the mountain is fluid. While it's possible that there were pyroclastic eruptions in the past, there hasn't been any in this game's lifespan. But let's get back to that lake. There's only a few lava lakes in the world, and at least two of them occur around the Rift Zone in Africa. One is in the Erta-Ale Shield volcano in Ethiopia. The other is Mount Nyiragongo. Unlike Erta-Ale, this is a stratocone. Mount Nyiragongo partially overlaps two older volcanoes, and it has unusually fluid eruptions. It is also surrounded by many smaller cinder cones. The similarities are beginning to pile up. Let's take a peek at the other side of the mountain, in the Searing Gorge. This area is also barren and full of fissures. More importantly is the feature that gives it its name, the Cauldron. It's a small gorge running through the center of the zone, a little ways away from the volcano. It is also filled with pools of lava. I believe this gorge in the low elevation is evidence to the fact that this area is thinning, a rift zone. So, we have old calderas, catastrophic collapses, rift zones and volcanoes, and lava lakes. Azeroth is indeed dynamic. Of course, it's not a perfect world. There are never any earthquakes or violent pyroclastic eruptions. Because it is a game, the world is static. The continents and oceans, to anyone's knowledge, don't actually move or grow. So in this world, where there's absolutely no surface tension, and even a few inches of water might save you from an otherwise lethal fall, where a man in full plate armor can happily swim without fear of sinking, where cities are built in trees the size of islands, where landscapes can change dramatically, in the blink of an eye. Where cities are built directly into the sides of mountains, with rivers of lava running through their core, but never a danger. While certain features can be justified individually with relative confidence, as a planet, it's still got some explaining to do. Thank you for joining me in this little adventure, and I hope that you enjoyed it.